All right, we're getting started in just a minute, so stay tuned. Here we go. Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully I'm coming in loud and clear. Please give me a thumbs up if I am. Welcome. It is Monday night, 7 o'clock, and that means transformations. And what are we talking about, transformations? It's the secret language of our body. You see, our pain, and this is the main content of the book tonight, our pain is literally talking to us each and every day. The pain is the indicator. And so we're learning how to decipher what that internal language is, to decode it, so that we can get the information that our subconscious self, the part of ourself that's operating below the radar, how do we actually learn to interpret it and use it to our advantage so that we can align and live our life to our fullest greatness? Welcome, I'm Dr. Kevin Jarina, and this is Transformations. So let me get you adapted to what's going on here. I want to say welcome. We have people from around the world that tune in and say hello, so please say hello. And let's talk about what we got going on tonight. All right, so we're talking about beliefs tonight, chapter 7 in the book. And let me give you a little rundown of what we cover each and every week. And this is the table of contents. And if you go to drkeving.com, or in fact, let me get that scrolling on the bottom here. If you go to, yes, drkeving.com, and let's see if I can get that to pop up in front of everything here, and you will be able to access the free gift, which is an introduction to Decode Your Pain. You can also go to drkevintransformations.com. That's drkevintransformations with an S.com, and you can get the free download, an introduction to Decode Your Pain. And what are we actually sharing in that free download? Well, there's a couple cool things that I put together. Right here in the back is the appendix, and it's contained in the free download, the gift for you, because one of the principles in which I operate is we all rise. I rise by raising others. And so when we each do something for somebody else, or we each help another individual out, it actually is raising the consciousness, raising the vibration of the collective. So in the appendix is the description of the body parts, the emotional feelings, and the symbolism. Let's see if I can get myself to pop up and say hello. And want to get my camera to pop in right there right now. However, you know, that's the production quality and what I got going on here, going live and doing this all in a gift for you, but in a one-man show format to share, to educate. This is one of my personal passions, is to take the things that I've learned from my own healing, my own insights, and to share them with others. And as I do that with my clients in my physical practice, transferring that into the online space has been part of my joy. So let's go back to the concepts here, because our beliefs are formed from our concepts. So let's continue. We have every body part that we could talk about has a connection to the subconscious part of ourself. Now, why do I keep saying the subconscious part of ourself? Well, that's important because there is a feature of ourself. You've heard the idea that we use 10% of our brain. Well, that's not true. We use 100% of our brain all the time. 10%, we can give it plus or minus, is a conscious ability. We think about something that we choose to think about. We do something that we choose to do. We have a running dialogue that we are generating. However, there's a feature, and I'm looking at the other screen to pull up what I want to show you. My goodness gracious. A lot of moving parts here. Is the classic image. I think I have it here. Maybe I don't have it. I'll pull it up on the internet here. There we are. Okay, so iceberg subconscious. Type those terms in, see what shows up for us, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna get exactly what I'm looking for. Yes. Here's a good image. Let's pull it up. Take a look at it. And the idea here is that 90% of how our body operates and how our physical self operates, and this includes our thoughts, is occurring below the radar, below your conscious attention, below the things that you're focusing on each and every day, like your job, like your children, like your family, like your whatever, your entrepreneur, the plans for the weekend. This is stuff happening below. And when you get into the conversation of law of attraction, of quantum physics, where thoughts are equivalent to things, there's a real reality to our subconscious patterns that we are unaware of that bring about our reality. Now, if you've been paying attention to life, and I'm talking about your specific life, things have been showing up for you to work on, either to let go of, and also or put energy into because you value it. And the universe has been giving all of us these things. And there's a way to determine that. And I've talked about it before. It has to do with how we, in the past, measured time, and how in the past we were able to navigate across oceans by just this pattern of the stars. So there's a lot. I'll even give you some biblical reference. How did the wise men find baby Jesus, if you're going to go along with that story? The point being is there's a grander way to determine when and where we are in the universe and the effects that has on the human body. And we are living out this play of life, and things show up at purpose, for a purpose, for your good. Life is life is the law, and I don't mean like a stop sign kind of a law, or or even the Ten Commandments kind of law, although that's part of it. That's not the totality of it. What I'm referring to is other principles of nature in which people observe that when we understand how it plays in our life, we get an understanding of why things happen, and therefore we can change how we look at and take action in the future. Now, let me bring it to a real example for a minute. So if think about clips of time, we have 30-day cycles. We have a year-long cycle. We have a decade-long cycle. Well, there's patterns that have other patterns of cycles of time. And things that start at the beginning of the cycle also come to a completion point and a wrap up at the end of the cycle. And so we're seeing a lot of wrapping up of things and launching of a new. And this week is very, transformative. In fact, all of 2020 and all of 2021 are about launching us forward into these new realms. And this is the big conversation of time, space, dimensions. However, we're talking about your life. And so our physical pain is the indicator system. Like if you've ever got into law of attraction, if you got into law of attraction conversation, Esther Jerry Hicks, that kind of thing, there is this guidance system they talk about, our emotions. And they're cluing us in. Where I want to make a slight shift from that conversation is we don't necessarily want to ignore that pain. We don't want to ignore that problem. Much of the movement that I've come across is about separating yourself or distancing yourself. Well, one needs to work on that when the time is appropriate. Not all the time is it appropriate, but sometimes it is. So ignoring a problem can actually result in a bigger problem. So let's continue here. Still get my buttons squared away. I changed things around, and now that's where I want to be right there. So apologize. All right, so let's go. Let's focus on the beliefs about how we heal. Okay, this is the main conversation for tonight. So the healing number one is based on these simple truths. So take a thought for a minute here. The body is self-healing and self-regulating. Can you get behind that? Can you agree with that statement? Well, think about when you cut yourself, and then imagine cutting a corpse. Now, I'm wondering who gets better first. I bet you know the answer. I'm being a little playful right now, but the point is you have an internal healing ability. Okay, now, what is self-regulating? The heart, the liver, the kidneys, these are all functioning and being regulated without your conscious control. Remember how we started our conversation today, just a moment ago. Healing is based on a simple truth, these simple truths. The body is self-healing and self-regulating. All right, so here's self-regulating again. And point number two here, the brain and nervous system. The purpose of the brain and nervous system is to control and coordinate the functions of all the cells and tissues and organs in the body and adapt the organism to the environment. So this is why we talk about here that pain has purpose. Pain is a window to the subconscious mind to help you understand the inner callings. And when we're out of alignment with those inner callings, when we are so far gone and beating ourselves up and sabotaging ourselves, when we have set so many rules for ourselves that we can no longer operate in an effective way, we literally trap our own self with our own mind. And I'm guilty of this. And this is actually how much of the book got written. And some of the things I wrote in that book that I show actually came true. Oh my gosh. So let's go back to the book and get into the chapter tonight. Chapter 7, the amazing powers of changing your beliefs about how you heal. Now, there's a couple important thoughts I want to relate right away. And this is right here. Okay, yes. Our beliefs shape our reality. Let me mention a couple statements here. Our beliefs shape our reality. We can go on and wax poetic, and we can bring up lots of conversation and authors and research and things of this, but this is a reality. Our beliefs shape our reality. We've all heard the glass half full or the glass half empty conversation. Well, this is in essence what we're talking about here. Though I love to say, well, the glass is always full. You may be wondering, okay, what is it always full? I mean, is it half of water? What's in the other half? Well, there's some molecules that are in the gaseous state that is full in that realm. And so technically the glass is always full. There is always something in the physical realm and perhaps in the non-physical realm that is being ready to coalesce and to be, as it condenses, it would fill that glass up even more, wouldn't it? Perhaps. So let's continue. So the purpose of the brain nervous system is control and coordinate the functions of all the cells, tissues, and organs in the body and to adapt to the environment. Let's keep that in mind. Now, our subconscious mind is where much of this is going on. There's significant amount of calculations of information going back and forth. It's something like the equivalent of information is about 400 movies per second the brain is able to process. Yet our conscious mind is, and that's something like 4 billion or 400 million bits of information per second. And our conscious mind is processing 40. That's significant. Our beliefs shape our reality. And where do our beliefs come? Our concepts. Perceptions. So the book Decode Your Pain is a book of concepts. And I'll refer back to the concepts here real quick. There we are. Your symptoms are the story. Life is symbolic. Intention and right useness. You are energy. Life is the Mandelbrot. Stop being your own worst enemy, becoming your biggest ally. And tonight, the amazing powers of changing your beliefs about how you heal. Well, next week we'll be talking about that, and the week after we'll be talking about change your own story, change your life, and life is perfect. And of course, in the conclusion, and you saw a little bit of the appendix where it has the roadmap of the psyche and symbolic connections of different body parts and symbolism with the emotions. So hips, fear moving forward in decisions. We often look and say things about ourselves. Shoulders, for example. Shouldering the responsibility, burden the responsibility, put the weight of the world on my shoulders. Our eyes, for seeing, for perceiving, for looking. So our world is very metaphorical, and yet there's also a very literal component. The yin and the yang. Okay, back to the chapter 7 here. The question I want to pose for everybody, because since our beliefs shape our reality, the question is, where do these beliefs come from? Many of the beliefs that you have are not your own. They are from where you grew up. I think it's Freud. He talks about the first couple years of life, and this is iterated over and over and over again in psychology in different forms and different schools of thought within psychology. But it's the youth. It's the brainwave state in which the child, the infant, the toddler, the child, the young tween is in this, I believe, delta or theta. Excuse me. Nonetheless, it's very much a hypnotic state. It's constantly taking in what it is to be human, what it is to be alive in this space and time and dimension. And then as the child ages to a certain point, typically, in my opinion, between 8 and 12, 8 and 13, where the system switches to simply just taking in to now testing out and putting out. And the beliefs, the processes, the programming, the traumas, the compensations for all these things, they put out into the world at that critical age where essentially the hormone cycle kicks in, life moves forward, and then we play out the psychology and the mannerisms and the behaviors and all that we, number one, we came in with, and number two, we developed. Nature and nurture. Yes, they've been taught to us from a very young age by our parents, our teachers, our social norms, what we see on TV, what we read in the magazines, and essentially even what the vibe is, to get a little woo-woo out there for everybody. Yes, the vibe. The same kind of thing where you're at a large gathering and someone just comes in and electrifies the room, a single individual. Or at the same time, someone can come into the same kind of party and just suck the life out of it dry. We've all been to live events where someone's speaking or playing music. It just uplifts everyone, and quite the opposite as well. This happens in your own day-to-day interactions with phone calls and conversations and people around you. Some tend to lift you up all the time. Some will tend to bring you down. Certain situations will do the same. And some people are able to be on both sides of that coin, sometimes not good, not bad, or indifferent, but certain situations suck us dry and certain situations bring us up. And it's the delineation and the discernment of what that is and where that is bringing you up to new to new levels and new heights, or bringing you down and into a destructive mannerism. So let's get to the good part here. So when people are talking about, oftentimes, and I started my career as a traditional chiropractic physician, and and with that said, I still do that work in different forms, different fashions. And the point being is there's more than one way to look at how the body functions. And what we've all been sold essentially is that a certain way of looking at health in the body is the only way. And that's not true. So I'm going to make a comparison between restaurants and healthcare. Okay. So think of anyone who goes to a health professional. Okay. People seek help because they can't figure out anything else to do on their own to get the relief that they're looking for. I mean, why else do we seek help? We're stuck. We can't figure it out on our own. Okay. So just like me, I was raised, and you go to basically a mainstream medical, what's called allopathic system, medical practitioner, and I was not even introduced to a holistic system at all until I was in college. However, just like a restaurant, the kind of restaurant you choose will dictate the kind of food you get. Well, the practitioner you choose will dictate the solutions that you will be offered. This is a big miss by most. And it literally just happened last week. Someone I hadn't seen in my practice for almost 2 years now had came in, tagging along with another family member who has engaging in care. And this person 2 years ago that I'm talking about worked with me for a while and saw great results. However, was trying to apply a one and done type of solution to a lifestyle process. So imagine if I expected to go to a gym one time and now be able to bench 300 pounds 10 times, do my squats 500 pounds 10 times, and be able to go run, I don't know, be able to go run 5 miles, a 5K in less than 20 minutes with one day of training. That would be a physical impossibility if the assumption is I didn't train before then. Point being, is many people approach holistic healthcare in the same manner as if there is a single pill to take and that solves all the problems. This is not the case. However, quite the case for most people's beliefs. So they apply a belief that's not in alignment with the actual reality. And so, back to the story, the person who dropped off care saw it the medical community. Well, that opened up a can of worms and started a significant process. And long story short, perhaps unnecessary diagnoses, unnecessary procedures, joint replacements, chemotherapies, all kinds of things, which seemingly is coming to a conclusion where all fingers are pointing at a fungus. All misdiagnosed. Will this person ever realize? Perhaps not, but their family members do. So that being said, we must recognize what it is to be human, and we must recognize the kind of practitioner we choose and the models they subscribe to and what those models afford them. So that being said, that term is called scope of practice. And so by definition, someone in the allopathic community, in the medical system, cannot do anything but prescribe pharmaceuticals, procedures, and testing. Period. They can recommend to other professionals, other specialists that are typically in alignment with the allopathic model. I'm not saying it's wrong. It's great for emergencies. It's great to get someone that was in travesty and traumas to get back into the place of stability. However, trying to maintain someone's high health, trying to optimize one's health, the system is showing quite destructive. There's quite a bit of evidence to say that, just very simply. So that being said, here we are. If you go to a medical practitioner, you will tend to get pharmaceutical or surgically oriented answers. You'll have to go through a series of tests to determine what is wrong, and then your practitioner will make a diagnosis. In fact, it's illegal to practice without a diagnosis in the medical system. However, a diagnosis in the true vitalistic, holistic model does not apply. It can't apply. Because the body is in a state of constant adaptation based on the amount of stresses and strains and toxins combined with deficiencies that are piling up. So yes, we can start to label things, but labeling things in itself, just like the conversation we started with, thoughts are things, the label itself brings about a psychology that attracts more of the thing we don't want. It's a wild deal. It's a wild deal. However, when you wake up to these features, we begin to orient our thoughts. We begin to recognize how we can identify the subconscious language. And I highly recommend you to go to drkevintransformations.com and download the free introduction to Decode Your Pain, and then purchase the entire book. It's less than $10, and you get a bunch of bonuses that give you a manual of self-healing techniques. And literally the book itself will feed you for a lifetime. And from there, you will be weaved through what's called the Vision Living Mindset System. You saw the website scrolling below, and this is where I help people learn the laws of our reality, of accomplishment, of laws of attraction, as well as the process of identifying the limiting beliefs, releasing the limiting beliefs, and wiring in new ones to help you bring about a result that you desire that is good for your life and the things that you're doing, the services that you're providing. And everything I'm doing is about your personal integrity, your personal sovereignty, your personal freedom to help you live your best life. Because when you live your best life, it raises the vibe where you are, which means it's raising the vibe where everybody is. All ships rise in the same tide. So that being said, let's keep moving things in a positive direction. You've seen it, pay it forward. And that's essentially the concept here. So as I help you delineate you and help you gain that emotional intelligence, gain that personal integrity to live your greatest life, well, then I'm doing a good job and I'm raising the vibration of everything and everyone around me. And that's essentially how I roll. Thank you, everybody. If you have a question, please drop it in the chat. I get to those. If you have a specific need, contact at drkeving.com. Go to drkeving.com. You'll see a few things. In fact, please support the channel. If you got some value about what we're doing, things I'm offering, what I'm into, I am inviting you to go to my website, drkeving.com. You see it scrolling right there at the bottom. Go over here to the shop section right there. Okay, and in this area are products for your health, for your greatest function, for you to thrive and live as best as you can. We talk about the book Decode Your Pain the rest of the night. We already did that, and this is about learning how to listen to the internal language so you can take the appropriate steps to move forward. AO Scan is the latest and greatest in health frequency optimization when it comes to the human body, when it comes to life itself. Whether it's the stick on the street to a brain wave from a thought, everything in our world is has a very specific frequency, a very specific oscillation. Every cell, every atom has motion. My first business was called Life is Motion. Body in motion. The tagline is Life is Motion. And literally, when you get down to the atomic and subatomic level, everything is in motion. Nothing is solid. And that's one of the weird mysteries of life. However, the same is true here. So, AO Scan is something that goes and sees and scans all the areas of what it is to be a human being and help balance and optimize those to the most effective range. And tonight I'm highlighting raw optics. We'll get back to that in just a second, but we have water filtration. Water is life. Make sure it's pure and clean. And I use something from Pro One and I use something from Big Berkey. They each have some different things that I like. And of course, Mind is everything. Daily messages, manifestation manual, everyday ESP. I even made my own affirmation audios. These are things that I all have used over the years and I have put together over the years. But let's go. Raw optics is about, click on that, is about your eyes. One of the coolest books I ever read is on a topic called synoptics. Think optometry and go up another level of knowledge and application. Light is always entering our eyes, and light, the quality of light, and this is why you've been hearing a lot about blue light filters and all that, is it affects our brain. So all this screen time we're getting has a negative impact on a lot of levels. And when I first was really digging in more than a year ago with a lot of the online content and online this, my eyes at the end of the day were hurting. And in fact, not that long ago, I had an issue. Nonetheless, I had something happen with my eyelid and something was clogged. And I would get, by the end of the day, my eye would be really sore. And I have these glasses from Raw Optics and I put them on. And my eye got calm and relaxed and actually started tearing and stuff started to flow out whenever I'd give it a break from all the light coming in at me. So, with that being said, I mean, it's funny, I keep flashing back to this, but if I didn't know this kind of thing and I went to my family practitioner and I was telling him I was getting eye pain, I'd be getting tests, in pharmaceuticals, and that wouldn't resolve the problem, meaning the toxicity that was constantly polluting me. Instead of finding something to protect my eyes and then finding certain nutrients to strengthen myself, well, I'd be in a stuck spot. So Raw Optics, go to this spot on the website, the shop section right there. You hop on that, you look for the Raw Optics image, click on that. You can read a little bit about why it's important, why this company is so great. But you go down to the bottom, you click on there, and it takes you right to the website. I get a little bonus, you get a great product, and you get to protect your eyes. And by all means, this has been a phenomenal company. And they're having it 10% off now. And you also get a little extra bonus when you sign up through the what's called my affiliate program. So yes, I am an affiliate, and I personally use them. And everything I offer on my site are are things that I use personally. I even read my book every week, and because I'm coaching people with it, I teach here on Monday nights with it, and I read the book every week to some degree, and I'm always going, wow, what so many insights in here. And I read it again, and I'm having more insights on the material I wrote and worked with others to build. Remember, I'm standing on the shoulders of giants, so everything I've put together are insights from multiple different areas of professionals that have helped me, and I just put it together and packaged together in the book here, Decode Your Pain. For a wonderful, digestible, life-proving product. I invite you to get access to that. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Dr. Kevin. I'll see you next Monday night. And tonight, in about a half hour, winning in every situation, go to Dr. Kevin, what is that? visionlivingmindset.com. visionlivingmindset.com/winning. I'm going to drop that right in the chat right now. See if I can spell it real quick. visionlivingmindset.com/winning. And let's see how that looks. It looks good. I think I did it. Hopefully it'll come through. You can link onto that. Get access there right now. You'll get an email before we get started in a half hour. You can get into that. Otherwise, I'll see you next Monday night. Same time, same place. 7 o'clock here. 8 p.m. on the live webinar series. We talk about the 3 keys to success. I'll see you then. Blessings and best regards.
Hello and welcome. I'm Dr. Kevin. This is the first introductory video in becoming your own healer.